It is my great pleasure to introduce our 2022 commencement speaker, Jerome Behar. Jerry, as he likes to be known, comes from a Spartan family with his two brothers and sister all earning degrees from Michigan State University. In 1979, he graduated with honors from MSU with a BA in accounting, setting him up for a profoundly interesting and impactful career. The early part of Jerry's career started with traditional accounting positions. He went on to earn an MBA at Stanford University's Graduate School of Business, after which he co-founded his first company. Jerry went on to a series of financial positions, including serving as CFO at both public and private companies, and started 3 additional operating companies. In 2002, Jerry started a company called Financial Intelligence to project manage high-value, restatement, and critical accounting issues. Financial Intelligence was named number 33 on the 2008 Inc.'s 500 list of America's fastest-growing companies. As a large wave of financial restatements were wrapping up in 2008, Jerry conceived of a solution to automate and streamline the SEC reporting process for public companies, and he started Web Filings, which later changed its name to Workiva. Workiva is the market leader today with annual revenue of approximately $500 million and more than 4,000 customers, which includes 75% of the S&P 500. In 2018, Jerry was moved by the serious Title IX issues being brought to light at his alma mater here at MSU and elsewhere across the university landscapes. In response, he founded and serves as chairman of Grand River Solutions, a provider of Title IX and related services and solutions to higher education institutions. In just over 3 years, Grand River Solutions, whose name is a nod to Jerry's MSU roots, has grown into the leader in its market space. Jerry is a serial entrepreneur, and he's now working on his 5th startup company. I have always been deeply impressed at how Jerry continuously aims high and inspires us at MSU to aim equally high. But there is another catch, and that is always with a strong sense of urgency. He continues to give back to our institution in meaningful ways, having returned to campus numerous times to speak with Broad College students. And over the past few years, he and his wife have been motivated to establish a nationally prominent university-level ethics institute. MSU has been making significant progress on this major initiative, and I expect this to launch in the coming year. This institute will enable MSU to include ethics in all aspects of the university, including our teaching and learning, research and scholarships, and institutional policies and processes. Jerry has been a tremendous champion for and supporter of Michigan State University and the Broad College of Business. I am deeply honored and extremely proud to call him my friend. Please join me in welcoming Jerry Behar.
Thank you for your gracious introduction, Sanjay. I would also like to acknowledge the trustees, faculty, administration, staff, family and friends, and the class of 2022. I would like to start off with a uniquely Spartan greeting that you all know well. Go green! Okay, that was a little weak, but I'm going to give you another chance at the end of my speech to really come strong. When you're wearing your MSU apparel, wherever you go in the world, there's a good chance that you will be greeted with the Go Green. Our people are everywhere, and it is always comforting to find a fellow Spartan when you're not expecting it. I'm delighted to address the Eli Broad College of Business class of 2022 and welcome you to a club that has been the most enduring and meaningful of my lifetime. You are now Michigan State graduates and alumni. Some of the people graduating with you today are likely to be among your closest lifetime friends. This has certainly been true for me. While you graduate today, your education is just starting. You have demonstrated that you're good learners. Your career success depends on you becoming lifelong learners. I'm embarrassed to say that I do not remember anything about the commencement speech from my Michigan State graduation. But I remember only one thing from my commencement speech from my Stanford Business School graduation ceremony. And the speaker said something that resonated with me. As you leave here, remember why you came. I recently learned that this quote was attributed to Adlai Stevenson, the ambassador to the United Nations during the Cuban Missile Crisis in John F. Kennedy's administration, and he used this in all of his commencement addresses. As you mark the completion of your undergraduate education at MSU, do you remember the excitement and anticipation when you were first admitted, and of your first days on campus? I was interested in entrepreneurship, but prior to graduate school, never dreamed that I would start something. I can assure you that accountants are not first in line when it comes to venture capitalists dishing out money. But I've come to appreciate that there is room for creativity and innovation in all fields and from people in all disciplines. It all opened up for me during my MBA program when successful Silicon Valley founders of household name companies came to speak. I began to see them as regular men and women with a vision backed up by really hard work, not elites who were somehow preordained for greatness. And I began to think for the first time, maybe I could do something special. My second startup, Financial Intelligence, had more than tripled every year for 4 years in a row, but the type of projects that we were focused on were wrapping up, and we were facing a steep decline in revenue. I was focused on determining what we would do next. I did not remember this at the time, but 18 years earlier, while using a technical writing solution which enabled linking of data, I thought this would be useful for SEC reporting. And I started working on developing a business plan, but abandoned the idea for all of the right reasons at that time. In early 2008, a colleague and I were wrapping up an interview with a candidate who had a Securities and Exchange Commission reporting background when the candidate stated, "There has not been any innovation in SEC reporting." It keeps me busy. I promptly ended the interview, and while the door was shutting behind the candidate, I declared to my colleague, that is exactly what we're going to do. We are going to innovate the SEC reporting process. And we immediately set to work on the product specs and business plan for what would become Web Filings and later change its name to Workiva. On a side note, a number of our founding team members and key employees were fellow Spartans. At the core of the epiphany was the understanding that there were tremendous advantages of linking numbers into a document and that Microsoft Excel and Word did not play well together. Additionally, the just emerging trends of hosted solutions and software as a service provided significant cost and delivery benefits. The result was that Web Filings customers were able to significantly automate and streamline their SEC reporting process, eliminate errors and inconsistencies. In their 2010 annual report filing, for example, eBay filed in 28 days versus the fastest ever previous filing of 48 days. I was immediately able to act on my epiphany because my team and I had substantial domain experience, which enabled us to understand the value proposition on a very granular basis. It turned out that the issues identified 18 years earlier had not fundamentally changed. Of course, I was naive about the challenges that we would face. But on some level, I believe no one would ever start a company if they were aware of all the challenges to come. My father was a mechanical engineer in the auto industry. In his last days at age 90, I asked him what he was most proud of. He replied, "I did right by my family," and went on to say that he was proud of his children, our relationship with each other, and with our parents. It turns out, at this point of my life, my answer would be very similar to my father's. As I reflect on my career, a number of things come to mind that I'm also proud of, all of which center around people. I am proud that I was able to turn ideas that started in my head into companies at which nearly 2,500 families today depend on for their livelihood. I am proud that customers find exceptional value in the solutions that we developed, which have impacted their lives on a profound and personal level. And I am most proud of the people that I've worked with and my role in helping them to achieve their career objectives as well as their financial and life goals. I would like to ask each of you to reflect on what you are most proud of and what you want to be most proud of in your career and in your life. Asking these questions of yourself can be helpful as a guide for you both personally and professionally, but also know that your perspective and goals will evolve over time. Based on your age and what I know about the quality of the Broad College of Business, I would venture to say that as a group, you have not experienced much failure to date. I am sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but no matter how excellent you are, you will experience setbacks and failure in your career and in your life. There is no way around that. It is inevitable. The key is how you respond. Will you shrink in the face of disappointment or failure, or will you learn and grow from the experience? In Silicon Valley, where I live, failure is often treated as a valuable experience, so long as you learn from it. You can recover from almost any failure, but failures of integrity and ethics are tough to get past. I strongly encourage each of you to make integrity a defining part of your personal reputation. You are also going to experience joy and success and have many things to be proud of, and there is a lot to learn from that as well. I have had many failures and many regrets, but only a few of my regrets rise to a meaningful level. And as I reflected on my regrets, a common theme emerged that virtually all of my regrets were attributed to my insecurity, my fear of failure, or my fear of rejection, and virtually all were about things that I did not do, not things that I did. I encourage you to summon your inner courage. Lean in, be bold, and follow your dreams, and stand by your ethical values. You will encounter ethical challenges. I have had more than one job where I had to go to work each day prepared to quit or be fired over ethical issues at the company, and that is no way to live. Aim high. Don't let your insecurities and self-doubt be the blockers that keep you from standing by your values or achieving your hopes and dreams. And know that everyone needs help from mentors and advisors. In February 2016, I was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive metastatic cancer with a median life expectancy of 1 to 2 years. I remember my initial meeting with my oncologist, and I heard the words, "not curable." And I pretty much tuned out everything after that. This is the kind of jolt that focuses the mind on what is most important in your life. I was able to learn via a second opinion of metastatic sarcoma patients who were 20+ years out from their diagnosis with no detectable cancer. and that the view that metastatic sarcoma was not curable was widely held, but not universally held. That gave me hope and the ability to maintain a positive attitude. Some people find inspiration in religion or spirituality, others in science and medicine or family. I found the ability to maintain hope, along with tremendous support from my family and friends and colleagues, to be transformative. I have not been cured, but my many surgeries and treatments, along with a positive attitude, have contributed to my being here today in the ambiguous realm of stable disease. The first 6 months following my diagnosis were rough, but I consider the last 6 years to be among my very best years. Where do you find inspiration for your toughest challenges, and what helps you to get through them? I have observed that humans need a periodic shock to remind them about what is most important in their lives. What does it take to remind you of what is most important in your life? And what can you do to keep that more top of mind so that you can focus on the most important things? Let me share with you 2 lessons that you do not need to get cancer to learn. The first is that there is an opportunity to find joy every day. It could come from a smile from a baby in a checkout line, a beautiful sunset, the accomplishment of a family member or yourself or a friend, or hearing your favorite song. So many opportunities to find joy, but most of the time we're too busy to notice and the moment flies right by. The second is that there are also opportunities every day to get frustrated. Most of the triggers are small issues that just don't matter that much. If you can let go of the small issues, you will really reduce the amount of frustration that you take. The combination of increasing the joy in your life and reducing the frustrations can have a profound impact on your overall happiness. For sure, this has been my experience. So years from now, I hope you will remember at least one thing from my speech. As you leave here, remember why you came. Congratulations, and of course, go green!